Alright, so this is going to be a quick little video on special angles on parallel lines. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a little investigation really quick so that you can see what the properties are that you were supposed to learn in class and how we use that in geometry. So first we're going to need two parallel lines. So I got lined paper on purpose so that I know that I'm going to draw two lines that are pretty parallel here. I'm going to name this line, I'm going to name it L. And I'm going to draw another line right here. So just in case you were not convinced while you were in class, I'm going to name that L K, or that line K, that L K. And then I'm going to have a transversal, right? So hopefully this is ringing a bell. And I'm going to name that one T for transversal. Alright, so now we know we have two parallel lines because hopefully the makers of this notebook created the lines are parallel. Otherwise, when you were writing, you'd have less space as you were going along. And so I'm going to go ahead and say that these two lines are definitely parallel. And we have drawn a transversal, okay? So we learned this year that there were some really special properties that happened with these angles. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to label the angles with just some numbers. So this is going to be the angles 1, 2, 3, and 4. And these angles will be 5, 6, 7, 8. So you can see that two parallel lines in a transversal create these 8 angles that will have some interesting properties associated with them. So let's remember what those properties were. So I have a piece of patty paper, which is nice because we can trace over it really easily. And we are going to place the paper over these top guys. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy that piece, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and copy these angles. I don't want to make it too big. And just want to make sure that we got this nice and straight. Otherwise, the point won't be made. And then what am I going to do? 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. So I have made a copy of my angles here. Okay? And what we're going to do is we're going to slide the patty paper down to the bottom so we can see, so we can compare the angles 1 through 4 with the angles 5 through 8, okay? So the first thing we want to compare are what we call corresponding angles. So if you remember, corresponding angles are angles that are on the same location, right? And this one, we would say that this is on the top left. So over here, the corresponding angle with number 1 is going to be on the top left. That's going to be 5. So these two guys are corresponding angles. And you can see that we have 4 pairs of corresponding angles. 2 is going to correspond with 6. 3 is going to correspond with 7. 4 is going to correspond with 8. So let's check that out. So angle 1 corresponds with 5, and what do we notice? Those are congruent. Angle 2 corresponds with 6, and you will notice that those are also congruent. So we can say that corresponding angles are congruent when we have the two parallel lines and a transversal. Alright, the other special types were alternate interior angles. So alternate interior angles, I'm going to take a different color. So interior means that they're inside of the parallel lines. Alternate means that they're on the opposite sides of the transversal. So we will have 3 and 6. Those are going to be alternate interior angles. 4 and 5 are also another pair of alternate interior angles. So let's see what's true about those. So 3, all right, let's match up 3 and see. And you can see that when I match up 3 and 6, those are also going to be congruent because they line up perfectly. So alternate interior angles are also congruent. Cool. All right. Another one that was alternate exterior angles. Alternate exterior. So this time, instead of being inside, we're talking about the outside. So they're going to be on the exterior. So that would be like 2, but they're going to be alternate sides, and 7. So 2 and 7. So let's line up angle 2 with 7 and see what's true. Notice that those match up perfectly. So alternate exterior angles are also congruent. Okay, and you can see that we have 2 pairs of those, 1 and 8, 7 and 2. Okay, so those are the main things. There are some other properties that you'll notice. 3 and 5 add up to 180. So that's the main idea of this. So let's practice with that idea. Let's practice with that idea. So here is an example where we use this information. I have 2 parallel lines. This is R, this is S, and this is T for transversal again. And we're going to say that R and S are in fact parallel to each other, just like these two were parallel to each other. This angle here is 7y minus 4. This angle over here is 216 minus 2x. And this angle is 3x plus 16. Okay? Our goal is to find y. So we want to figure out the value of y. Okay? So to figure out the value of y, I got to figure out what this angle is, right? And then set this expression equal to it, and then do algebra 1. And I can also see I have these 2 other guys here that are what type of angle? They're corresponding. Notice that if I were to look at these, right, this would be kind of on the bottom right. This one here is on the bottom right. So these 2 guys are corresponding. What do we know about them? They're congruent. So when I'm solving this problem, I'm going to do 216 minus 2x. And I know that's going to equal to 3x plus 16 because these 2 lines are parallel. And now we're simple algebra. So add 2x to both sides, we get 5x plus 16 equals 216. Subtract 16, we get 200 equals 5x. And 5 can go into 200 40 times, so x equals 40. Okay, we're not looking for x, so keep that in mind. We're looking for y. So what does that mean? That means I can figure out what this angle here is, right? So that's going to be 216 minus 2 times 40. So that's basically 216 minus 80. So 216 minus 80 gives me that this angle is 136 degrees. Okay, now notice what the relationship is between the expression 7y minus 4 and 136. These are vertical angles, which means that those are also congruent. So we can say 7y minus 4 equals to 136 degrees. Add 4 to both sides. 7y equals 140. So y is going to be 20. And that's my final answer. Alright, so I hope that was helpful. I will hopefully see